is my channel, Christy of the Cosmos, where we talk about dreams and dream work and symbols and how to stay lucid and all of these fun things that have to do with the things that happen to you when you close your eyes at night. I am a strong believer that that time is as important as your waking life, that the things that happen to you are meant for your waking life in many cases, and even that you live a whole life or even multiple lives in those lives, and things that are happening over there are for realsies. I know that's hard to believe for a lot of people, but that's my belief, and I've had lots of confirmation on that. So today, I want to tell you this story about a place that I've mentioned in the last few videos called New Earth. I have been having these dreams about New Earth my whole life without ever having any idea what the heck New Earth is, or that there was the concept of New Earth. I mean, I grew up Christian. I would call myself just broadly spiritual now, but I grew up Catholic and went to Catholic school and sang with my mom in church, and we led the hymns. We were the choir. So I had a very strong spiritual life even from when I was a child. So even though I have evolved, let's say, beyond, and I don't want to say that because that sounds condescending, I've expanded my view and feeling of spirituality beyond Catholicism and Christianity. Ever since that happened, I started having even more experiences of this new reality. If you've never heard of New Earth before, or the event, this might be a kind of weird video for you. And that's cool, because maybe it'll touch your heart in a way that will make you want to learn more. And I highly suggest going and listening to like QHHT sessions with not Instagrammer, maybe I don't think she's on Instagram, with YouTuber like Allison Coe. She does a lot of New Earth videos. Dolores Cannon has talked about New Earth. New Earth is in the Bible, as I said. And this whole event thing has been talked about in pretty much every major religion and culture. The world's weird right now. Have you noticed? Have you been out there and been like, this doesn't seem normal anymore. Things have changed. And it's like, yeah, we're going through a big shift right now. And everybody kind of has their own version of what that looks like for them. And so I don't specifically prescribe to any one view. I just keep it to me. I keep it to my own view. I don't study under anybody. I don't read anybody's books. I don't do any of that, really. I don't do yoga. I rarely meditate. Honestly, I used to meditate all the time. And I've gotten myself into a state where I actually feel like I'm living on my life in a state of meditation a lot. And a lot of it has to do with gratitude. But that is not what my video is about. There is a prophesied from many different channels, let's say, whether it is through sacred texts or whatever, point of which we go through this massive shift, and some have named it the event. And I have seen this, and I've had waking visions. Now, since I started doing dream work, I never used to have waking visions, which means like having visions during the day. I had them a little bit in meditation, but I really didn't have that experience except for in sleep until I started doing dream work in my sleep. And then I started receiving actual visions during the day, which is pretty wild in itself. And I've had one powerful one, which I will share in another video, about the event itself and what that means. Today, I want to speak beyond the event into this place that I have been. I have been there on multiple occasions, called New Earth. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. I don't even think that's the real name. That's just how we see it. And there is a few things that have happened in each one of these experiences that are all connected, and how I just had this realization pretty recently that I've actually been having these dreams my whole life. And one of the main things is that it is not a different planet. And it's not so different from our current Earth, but it is spontaneously evolved into a more optimal version of itself. And that in itself is very symbolic. So new Earth is also new you. The more you do the work, which means in a very, very tight nutshell, getting to know yourself better and really becoming yourself unabashedly, like just really being true to you and owning the parts of yourself that you need to heal and the parts of yourself that, you know, can be hurtful and all of that stuff, like, and healing the traumas and all of like the work, right? It's just getting to know yourself better. And when you do, suddenly you have this really amazing experience of leveling up into your optimal version of yourself, your optimal timeline meaning, I'm not going to get into timelines right now. You can look that up on your own. But your optimal version of yourself. So New Earth, at least as far as I understand it, is like Earth's optimal version of Earth. This Earth we are on right now is not Earth's optimal version of Earth. The planet itself is quite beautiful. We tend to, as a collective, and this is a lot of programming that we've just been in since forever, to look at the worst parts of what's happened in the world. But there's a lot of, I mean, the vast majority of this actual planet is beautiful and flourishing. We just are always brought the attention to the places where it is hurting. And in this new Earth, it's like that hurt doesn't exist anymore. And the unnatural, superficial way that we have changed it also doesn't exist anymore. And it's literally spontaneous and instant. It is not in any one of these dreams, and in many, and this is not just me, go do your own research. You don't have to believe me. I don't really care. You don't have to believe me. But from what I've seen through other people talking about their own experiences, this isn't something that is a gradual thing that happens over thousands of years and hundreds of years, even decades, really, of us learning to be better humans and blah, blah. No, that's not what we're talking about here. Yes, we are going to do those things and we are going to evolve as a collective human people because of being in this place. Is everyone going to go there? I don't think so, man. But they have opportunities to go and do other things. And I'm not even going to talk about that here because that's not what this video is about. But we have the same trees, the same landscapes even. They've changed slightly, but they're the same place. And so, for example, I used to live in a city called Windsor, which is right across the Detroit River from Detroit, Michigan in the United States. I'm on the Canadian, well, I was on the Canadian side. That's obviously the American side. And we have a riverfront, and it runs along the whole front of the city. And it's actually quite nice. You know, there's a lot of houses on the riverfront, but there's a lot of like walking trails and parking lots and parks and all kinds of stuff. And it's quite nice in a lot of places to go to the river. And Windsorites frequently do that, spend a lot of time at the river. We even have like a sculpture park there. And it's quite nice. They've done a pretty good job of maintaining a nice riverfront. But in all of these dreams that I've had, it is changed. Instead of just being like a, you know, pretty straight. I mean, it kind of does this, obviously, but over the course of kilometers, it kind of jets out and comes in, and there's all these really beautiful structures that are built that people can enjoy the water and interact with the water, and there's no boat traffic. There's no boats, like big freight. There's a lot of like shipping freighters. It's in the Great Lakes area, so we have a lot of big, giant shipping freighters that go through. from lake to lake to bring, supplies from here to there. There's none of that. There might be like beautiful boats and things like that, but nothing like industrial. In fact, in all of the dreams, all of that really industrial stuff is just gone. Doesn't mean everything is gone, like it's just back to nature and we're all living in grass huts. Some people do have that experience when they have these new earth experiences, like they find themselves in like the jungle and grass huts. I have literally never had that. I've always been in the place that I am, and it's changed. There's still homes there. There's no cars. I've never seen a car in any of these dreams. And there's just a lot more beauty. It's very beautiful. A lot more trees, more plants, more species of plants in general, more species of animals. The animals are much freer. We see a lot more animals around just naturally, and they're not afraid of us. We don't harm them really. I don't understand how society is as a whole, although I've had many dreams about that as well. And also like visions about that as well, especially in my work as an artist. I go check out my work at christylitster.com. But it's just very beautiful. It's like it changes enough that we know we're in a new place, but it's still very familiar. So the ugliness is gone. So you might see a really ugly, like big square box apartment building gone, but you'll see some really beautiful older architecture that was made with bricks and mortar and, has had this like some sort of beauty built into it. So everything is about beauty, and that's a whole discussion unto itself. So the dream I want to share today is how I arrived to this place. I've had multiple dreams about other people arriving to this place and me already being there. And the way it happens is you arrive. Every single time I've had any type of event / new earth dream, it's not cataclysmic and like the movie 2012 where volcanoes are everywhere and water is swiping everybody away and we're all blowing each other up or something. Like, it is not like that at all. I've never, not once in all this time, had that experience. And so for me, I really don't believe that that's how I get to where I feel like we could be going, because that's not how it is. Something happens. I'll get into that in some other dream, some other video, well, in other dreams too. And then boom, within a day or two, things start changing real fast. So there's waves of people that go there. And how you get there is you just are in one reality, boom, you're in another reality. There is a shift in there, and I will talk about that when I talk about my vision dream, and that's wild. But in this particular dream, this is my arrival. Do I want to say 2 dreams? I'm going to tell you about 2 dreams. Do I have time? Yes, I have time. It's my channel. I can do anything I want. I want to talk about 2 dreams. The very first dream I have, this is one of my, I love this dream, but pretty crazy. I'm suddenly in a garden, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There is plants that like vegetation, like veggie plants and fruit trees and all of these things, herbs, all growing in tandem with shrubs and flowers, and they're all working together to create beautiful mini little ecosystems. And they're in these like raised beds that are just really well made with gorgeous white alabaster looking stones and pillars. And I remember there being these really gorgeous pillars holding up arches that had vine plants coming off of them, and vine flowers like wisteria, and just like the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. And there was all these paths around. Everything was very symmetrical, very beautiful, very well maintained. And there was all these paths, like stone paths, and not like literally stone paths, not like like place, like flagstone paths, but like stones in between all these beds, and you could just kind of wander through, and all I saw, a lot of people were just walking around, and some were tending to the plants and all this stuff. And I'm there and I'm just in total awe of this place. And then suddenly next to me is this, I'm guessing, 9-foot being in these beautiful robes. I don't remember what the face of this person looked like. I just know that my head probably was like up to like their hips, basically. And I'm 5'5", so, you know, they were pretty tall. Whatever that is in height, that's what they were. And they stood beside me, and they started talking to me, and I don't remember everything they said. They were giving me lots of information, and their energy was so peaceful and just like kind and very easy to be around. Not menacing in any way, just very loving, peaceful, gentle, but massive. Like, I remember their hands looked like regular, like hands like this. I think they might have been different color of skin. I don't really remember that. But like big hands. And I'm pretty sure this was a female that was with me. And she said, you know, this is your place. And I'm like, what do you mean? I've never been here before. And I knew I was dreaming. Like, I was very lucid. And, I was present there. But I knew that there was different from here. And I knew that I was asleep in bed somewhere. So I didn't feel like necessarily, it felt more like I was there as opposed to I was dreaming this all up. And this being said, this is your place, this is your job, this is the work that you're gonna do. Like, you are actually creating this right now. And I'm like, I don't understand how that's possible. You know, I live in a city, this is a long time ago I've had this dream. And she's like, and I didn't ever have a garden even. I think I tried to do some herbs, and I didn't do that great at it. I always had a natural, like, what do you call that? Green thumb? Yeah, green thumb, sorry. I've always had that, but like, I never really tried. I never had plants. I never had anything really. So I'm like, you don't understand. I don't know anything about this. I don't know how that's possible. She's like, you and your life that you're living in your like waking life, not yet. But here, you're like a master gardener, and it's your energy, it's your frequency that helps tend these gardens and keeps them free of pests and helps them, like, I'm like a fertilizer. You know what I mean? And it was wild. She's like, that's the importance of your frequency. And so if you have plants, it's extremely important to like bring your vibe around your plants, and you might notice that they grow bigger and fuller, and you don't have to do as much rather than just keeping them watered and well sunned and you know, fertilized, whatever. So, and I'm like, where are we? She's like, I think you would call this New Earth. And I'm like, oh, well then, cool. And she went on to explain about my role there and how this garden was this sacred space that people arrive to because the plants themselves hold this really like comforting, healing energy. And so anyway, I lost my train of thought. And so people come there, and it's like, because you go to this new place so quickly, your body, because you go physically there. This isn't like a death experience where you die and go to heaven and that's it, and you're just in energy. No, you're like physically there, like as yourself. But yourself is like the absolute optimal version of yourself at the optimal time of your life. It's really, 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 really wild. And that's not in this dream. I'll share that in another dream. But anyway, so I woke up from that dream. So let me fast forward to the one that I actually wanted to tell you. I arrive as me. And I'm outside, I look back, and I'm in this sort of small grassy area, and I can see some beautiful potted plants. And then there's a forest kind of in the background, and it's very lush, and there's lots of floral trees, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. And there's even like one really cool thing is there's these large stones. So there's some stones, but there's also actual crystals. And I mean like crystal points sticking up out of the ground. And it's like out of this world gorgeous and serene. And off to my side, so if I'm facing this way, I'm looking at this like little glade, let's say, and like here is like a waterfall slash staircase. And I'll get to that in a second. I turn around, so right here, I look back and it's the entrance to that garden that I had a dream about previously. And I'm just seeing part of it, and I can tell it goes on for a long time. Like it's huge, but I'm just seeing sort of this entrance to the garden. And all of a sudden I see this woman walking up to me, and I recognize her as somebody I know. And she starts saying, "Oh, welcome, Christy. Oh, it's so good you're here. You made it here now. Yay. I'm so excited for you to get to do the work that you came to do. And this is excellent." And I say, "Hey, what is this place?" Like, I have sort of a memory of the garden, but I don't remember that dream at all. And she's like, "This is for many people, not for everybody, but for many people, this is an entry point. And these gardens help sustain people with food and beauty. And there's like this frequency here that like helps you integrate into this new earth place. And your vibe, your frequency that you emit becomes in resonance with the earth over time. But the longer you stay in this garden, the more it kind of helps you balance that out and helps you match the frequency of new earth. That some people come in and they don't match it. Actually, most people, when they came in, she said, they don't just match it instantaneously. So some people need to stay here for a day or two. Some people have to stay for a really long time. And she says, and part of your job here is to maintain the gardens. And that, you know, you help create the gardens. And I was really confused because I had never really been there before. But I was like, okay, cool. So she's like, I have to show you something else. So she brings me over, and like I said, there was these steps, like very wide steps, like this wide. And there's stone, and there's like this very gentle waterfall that's going down the steps. On either side, there's all these like boulders and rocks, and everything is very beautiful. I can't describe the beauty of it. But the steps are, it's like a gentle, it's not like a big decline down the steps. It's very gentle. And it kind of follows the grade of the hill. So there's a hill along, it's grassy hill that has plants and stuff too. And there's the forest along the one side. And it goes down, and the idea is that you're supposed to walk into the water of the steps. And so she tells me, she's like, I want to show you this. And we get into the water, and she's like, this might be quite intense. Just, you know, I wanted to give you a heads up. I'm like, okay. So we walk in, and the minute, and I'm barefoot. I'm like in normal clothes, like I'm in right now, but I'm barefoot, and I become so emotional. Like, it was like every, I don't want to say negative, every heavy emotion in my body that was inside my body was coming out of my face. Like I was like vocally crying, like wailing, crying, so much tears are coming, like I'm puffing up instantaneously. I could feel that feeling, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle, oh my God. I'm like, I can't handle it. I can't. She's like, it's okay. And she sort of gently leads me back over to the side, over the little rocks and onto the grass. And instantly I feel way better. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? And she's like, that's where you go to cleanse. Like, it's the cleansing place. And, you know, eventually you start walking down the steps. And basically once you're able to walk down the steps without falling apart, like you've actually were able to like really cleanse your body of all of these really dense and heavy emotions, once you're able to do that, then you're here. Like you've matched the frequency of the new earth, and then you can leave and go check it out and see what it's all about. I'm like, okay. So she leads me down the hill next to the stair. I'm definitely not ready for that yet. And she gets to the bottom, and it's so weird because the bottom is like a regular neighborhood street. And it's like I can see a street almost right in front of me. Like, so it's like slightly off, like here. And another street that's going this way, and there's stop signs, and it looks like a normal street with like trees in the front lawns, and the houses are super normal, you know, maybe like ranches, like they were just not double stories or anything. They looked, you know, kind of similar to what I live in now, like a ranch, you know, and they're brick houses, but there's no cars anywhere. And so she starts to walk out, and she's like leaving, and then she's like, okay, I have to leave you now. I gotta go. I'm gonna go do my thing. And I'm like, oh, can I come with you? And she's like, you're not ready yet. She's like, you will be real quick. Like, you know, it's okay. There's no rush. This is for good now. Like, this is your life for real. And I trust her. I'm like, okay, I hear you. And I feel it too. And, you know, why would she lie to me? There would be no reason. She's like, you can come out here anytime you want, but it's not easy to handle. It would be similar to those steps, right? You know what I mean? Once you get out and start getting into the new earth and experiencing new earth as it is. So you can go in the garden, you know, eat some food, talk to other people, just basically go in and enjoy yourself up in the gardens and along this babbling brook thing. And when you're ready, you'll know, and then you can come out. But, you know, I'm really excited for you to see everything and get to experience new earth because it is amazing. And I'm like, okay. So that was I saw her walk away. She had a couple people that were kind of following behind us a little bit, but like giving us our space, and they kind of walked off together and walked down the street. Oh, there was like a sidewalk. Just walked towards the sidewalk, started walking down the street. And so I turned around and started up the grass towards the garden. And then I woke up, and the feeling in my body was like sheer joy. I've never woke up feeling sheer joy but what had just happened. And I knew in my heart that I was given a tremendous gift. And I remembered at that time oh my God, I had that other dream about the garden and the huge being that was there. And I really believe that person was there to help guide us a little bit. But like, we were doing it on our own. We didn't need somebody they weren't saving us. They weren't doing anything like that. They were just kind of assisting us to kind of integrate into a new life. So anyway, that's one of, two, I guess, of many, many new earth dreams, but just like one of the most beautiful experiences of my life, the feeling of that place. And I've actually had this conversation with a few people, and they're like, oh my God, I've dreamt about the garden. Like, I've dreamt about the garden. I don't think everybody goes to the garden. It could be that, the first wave of people getting in have to go through this experience, and then they end up kind of holding the frequency for other people who come after them. Not everybody goes in one time. It's like waves of people. I've had that many times. So anyway, there you go. New Earth. It's pretty cool. And if you don't believe me, like I said, you do you, friend. We're all on our own little journey. And you might think I'm just totally wacky nuts hippie lady, and that's cool too, man. I don't care, it doesn't matter. I really have been called to share these stories, share my experiences and how they affected my life and how they've affected other people's lives too. Like, sharing that story with certain people has really given them hope in a time when they were feeling completely broken. So if anything, that joy that I felt, I hope I was able to share a little smidge of it, at least, with you today. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I don't know, whatever you're supposed to say at the end of these videos. I'd really appreciate it. And stay tuned. Until next time, your friendly friend Christy. Peace.